So breaking crypto news here this morning, CPI data is in. We're going to talk about what it means, what it says, and where we think crypto could go after getting this news. So Michael Van de Pope bringing us this tweet not too long ago here within the last couple hours here, breaking CPI hitting 3.2% while 3.3% was expected. The Fed hiking policy is coming to an end. This is coming from Michael Van de Pope, one of the best crypto analysts, in my opinion, out there. He says CPI comes in lower than expected, where month over month is at 0.0%. Markets trend higher again. Dips are still for buying, he says, also on Bitcoin. So the stock market rallied a little bit. So did crypto. Crypto was down heading into the news hours before we got the news here this morning. Crypto was down. We have started to see some capital come back into the markets here after some good news. I want to take you over to this tweet as well. Then we're going to kind of, go a little bit deeper into the overall scene here and talk about some altcoins, talk about the overall markets. This here, breaking good news. U.S. CPI comes in at 3.2% versus the forecasted 3.3% year over year. CPI comes in at 0% versus forecast over the month over month. And then more CPI, core CPI, which maybe is a better indicator actually of inflation because we exclude energy. And it's coming in at 4% versus a forecasted 4.1%. And then core CPI on the month over month comes in at 0.2% versus the forecasted 0.3%. Now, check this chart out. This is pretty interesting. This is dating all the way back to October of 2022. So this gives us a 12-month percentage change in CPI for all urban consumers, not seasonally adjusted. So you could see where we were back there in October of 2022. It was just absolutely running rampant, inflation was, right? And slowly but surely, we got down to a really low point in June of this year. But then what happened is we saw inflation spike again throughout the summer in July and August. But since August, it has remained flat through September and now has come down in October and November again, leading us to believe that we could be getting this thing under control. And maybe they're going to stop raising rates, right? We'll see what happens in December. That'll be the final Fed decision to close out 2023. If they decide to pause on the rate hikes again, that would be the third consecutive pause here on interest rate, on not raising the interest rates. All right, so let me take you inside this article too. This kind of dives a little bit deeper here. U.S. CPI unexpectedly flat in October. Bitcoin adds 1%, just popping up a little bit. Nothing crazy there, but it kind of highlights what we just did in terms of the numbers. But I want to kind of come down here a little bit and talk about what this means. Okay, so it says here, while headline CPI inflation has been receding for months, it stayed above the U.S. Federal Reserve's 2% target. Of course, that's where they want to get to. In addition, the core rate had stubbornly remained above 4% for several months running. Fed members have hinted that they're interested in perhaps one more rate hike before finally ending what's now a roughly 20-month monetary tightening cycle. And chief economist at RSM, Joseph Brusalis, said, "This is good news, folks." He noted that core goods prices actually declined 0.2% in October. Not a huge percentage, but hey, any kind of decline in core goods is good at this point. Expect more disinflation moving forward, he says, especially as shelter costs ease into mid-2024. So he thinks shelter cost or housing could slowly start to ease and come down as we move into 2024. Prior to this morning's report, traders were pricing in about an 86% chance the Fed would hold rates steady at its next meeting in mid-December. So not as good of a chance as this last rate pause was. Of course, this number could change as we get closer, and there's roughly a 75% chance of a continued pause at the January meeting, according to CME FedWatch and their tool. So shortly after the data, the odds of a December pause rose actually from 86%, though, to 99.5%. And for January, a pause is likely to the tune of 95.6% confidence. So after this data came out today, these, the likelihood that we get another pause in December and January have increased drastically. These are kind of ever-evolving, changing, numbers, so we'll keep tabs on these as we get closer to that December meeting. We take a look at the overall market here. Bitcoin pretty flat here today. The overall market pretty flat, down just about a percentage point, nothing too crazy. We're still sitting at a $1.4 trillion global crypto market cap. When we crossed over the $1.3 trillion level, we hadn't seen that since June of 2022. That is insane. It has been that long since we saw a $1.3 trillion market cap. Now we're up at $1.4 trillion. It's been a really, really surprising 2023, especially with Bitcoin coming from 16,000 to crossing over 38,000 not too long ago, sitting at 36,500 right now as we speak. Take a look at the some of the top gainers here. Some names some others that are new to the fold. Celestia has been crushing it here, up 157% in the last week. And we take a look at Flow. They, of course, partnered up with Instagram and Facebook. They're ranked number 68. They're up a little bit here today, up about 5%. Caspa's one we talk quite a bit about here on the channel. It's up about 4.5% here in the last 24 hours. Arweave is another one making some nice headway here. The one I'm really watching for right now is Polygon, dialing back a little bit, I think offering us a nice little entry here. I know Polygon has went up 75% in the last month, but all indicators are that Polygon still has some nice room to run. We take a look at the year chart, okay? Polygon, back in February, guys, was over $1.50. I actually just went ahead and opened up a short-term swing trade on Polygon. I'm also a long-term investor there, but I'm looking to make a play here. And my exit point is $1.50. So I went ahead and opened up a trade here on this little bit of a dip here this morning, and excited about where that could be heading. I do think we can close and fill that gap here on Polygon. So much to love about Polygon. They are just outside the top 10 right now. They have been absolutely crushing it since all of their partnership announcements last year. They're a crypto that has certainly experienced a bear market, just not as deep of one as many other altcoins. It's only down, 67, 68% right now from its all-time high of $2.92. So that's a quick kind of rundown on what's going on with the rates, what we expect to see. In terms of the overall market, this hasn't really affected it that much in terms of the prices of Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're still hovering kind of where we've been here in the last few days. We'll continue to track things for you and see if anything breaks. Yeah, we did have some fake news come out on an XRP ETF. I don't know if you guys caught that. But yeah, that was proven to be a false report. So that is not real. I know there's some conversations happening about that as well. All right, appreciate you guys as always. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Smash that like button as it helps us with the YouTube algorithm, and we'll see you in the next video.